Joined by Massoglia. She is the editorial and investigations manager for Open Secrets. That is the group that tracks all of the money in politics, whether it's regular or whether it is dark. Anna, thank you so much for being here. I'm fascinated by this topic. Are these people generally doing this for their own benefit? There's something they specifically want, or are they actually trying to change the country?
It's really hard to know different donors' motives without more insight into their own agendas, which is oftentimes not something that accompanies Federal Election Commission filings. We do know in some cases their business interests. We may know in some cases ideological agendas. In this election cycle, we've seen, for example, cryptocurrency industry interests rise considerably. In many cases, when industries come under scrutiny, they oftentimes, the individuals and the organizations within those industries tend to increase their political contributions.
And if anybody's watching right now who didn't see last night, that chart on the screen, it's prodigious in its rise, because that was, post Citizens United, where woof, all of a sudden you could put money in and you didn't have to say who you were. You could put it into super PACs and stay anonymous. So you worked for Bloomberg Inc. And, generally speaking, Mike Bloomberg seems to be pretty transparent. He does spend his money, in the super PACs, but he can give unlimited amounts. And I guess the big question, if you know the answer, is there money that we don't know about that Mike Bloomberg has been donating that maybe he's not been so transparent about?
So far during the 2022 election cycle, Bloomberg has not been a top donor in the same way he has in prior cycles, though he has still poured millions of dollars into 2022 elections at both the state and federal level. So he's still a big player, but further down the list of top donors. That said, there was recent reporting by the Washington Post indicating that he has planned to spend over $60 million on the 2022 election cycle, but through various advocacy groups and other organizations. In those cases, when it's a 501c4 nonprofit, they're not legally required to disclose their donors. So unless Bloomberg or the organization that he is giving through, such as Bloomberg Philanthropies, voluntarily discloses that grant, that information may go unchecked.
It's hard to even have this conversation without drooling, because sometimes I can't believe the numbers we're talking about. Spending $1 billion on your own presidential campaign is just sort of stupefying, But with regard to Rebecca Mercer, I'm wondering if you have any more insight into sort of her motivation. I know she's quite a quiet character. Not many people know much about her. Certainly we don't see her very much. She's given tens of millions of dollars. She was on the transition team for Trump and apparently had a hand in helping Trump pick cabinet members. So does that tell us that she wants to have some of that personal power herself? Or again, the question is, do you see her doing this because she wants the country to go in a certain direction?
We have seen the Mercers operating primarily behind the scenes for a number of years, both Rebecca Mercer and Robert Mercer. In the Trump administration, we saw in political contributions, both disclosed and undisclosed, increase substantially as the news about them increased as more information was made available. This election cycle, we really haven't seen any considerable sum of at least disclosed political contributions at the federal level from Rebecca Mercer. That said, there were some early in the cycle to candidates like in key Senate races. So she's certainly not completely withdrawing from this, but in recent months, we really haven't seen continued political contributions. But one important note with that is we really don't know what's happening behind the scenes. How much money is being routed through their family foundation, through 501c4s? How much money is being spent through these advocacy groups, similar to the examples before? So unless they are voluntarily disclosing that information, it's not legally required to be disclosed to the Federal Election Commission in many cases.
And I'll tell you what, it is aptly named dark money because of all of the things that you just said. Anna Massoglia, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.